Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to this Rules Committee meeting. At this point, we don't have a quorum, but I do anticipate that I will be joined shortly by Mr. Jose Huizar. But that's we can still begin this meeting, Mr. City Attorney, or as a committee of the whole, or as a chair. And so what I think I want to start off with, I want to call up a friend for general public comment, Commissioner Schaefer. I should require you to wear that pretty blue hat that you have, but I won't. Okay, see, so now we're ready to go. It's always a pleasure to see you, sir, and welcome.
Thank you, President Wilson. I just wanted to bring up two things. One that's been on this committee's agenda and one that for some reason hasn't. One is the office space for neighborhood councils, office and meeting spaces that's been out. There was no date for bringing back the report, and we'd like to see this come back to the agenda, see what they've come up with. The other is, and it's a proposed ordinance, giving the commission the ability to further define substantial and ongoing with regards to the community interest stakeholder.
I'm listening to you
which your fellow city council member, Mr. Krikorian, looked at me at a meeting and said, if you want to tackle it, God bless you. And we do want to tackle it before the next election, and they're going to be working on that shortly. We'd like to get that definition in place if we could. So if it could get calendared and get on the agenda, we'd appreciate it so we can work on it. It's got to be passed by the city council as an ordinance.
Okay, well, that I will look into. Where it relates to the meeting space, I think that you know that's a very important issue with me, and I believe that's with the CAO's office right now, so I will try to move that along. That is a commitment that I made, that I want to try to work that through the system so you can be assured of that.
We would appreciate that greatly.
Okay, good to see you again. I don't have any more general public comment cards, so where it relates to general public comment, I think I'm going to, we'll make it, does somebody want a general public comment? So I'm going to close general public comment, and I think we'll begin to go through the items where I do have some comment cards. Let me just give me a second to try to sort this out. So I want to ask, this is on item 6. Do we have Sam Galati here? Sam, please come forward.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read that item into the
Yes, yes, I would. See, I was just testing you to see if you were paying attention, and you obviously are. Let Sam wait one moment if you'd read the item.
Item number 6 is Resolution Buscaino-Blumenfeld and CLA report relative to including in the city's 2015-16 federal legislative program support for SJ Res 28, which would disapprove of the rule creating the United States Department of Agriculture catfish program and would return inspection of catfish back to the Food and Drug Administration.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. I just wanted to make a few comments today, mostly facts. First of all, seafood is considered a low-risk food. FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention consider commercially raised catfish to be a low-risk food. Seafood accounted for only 1% of pathogen illnesses, which include products such as poultry, beef, pork, eggs, vegetables, and dairy. Food safety resources should never be redirected at a target that is by definition not posing a risk to consumers. Americans eat 1.5 billion servings of catfish each year. Imported and domestic catfish ranks in the top 5 most consumed seafood products in the U.S. 37% of 350 million pounds that come into this country of imported catfish comes through the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach.
Continue.
Okay. If imports were not allowed, which would probably be the results of this USDA transition, many jobs locally, including longshoremen, mechanics, warehousemen, logistics, seafood plant personnel, sales and marketing, and a lot of other jobs will be affected in the food chain. So I just want to make sure I end this by saying that this USDA catfish inspection program would be great for a few catfish companies in Mississippi and great for jobs in Mississippi, but not good for jobs in California. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. So unless I've been joined by Mr. Weezar, so we do have a quorum. So where it relates, Mr. Clerk, to item 6, unless there are some concerns, we will adopt the CLA report and the resolution on item 6. And since we have been joined by Mr. Weezar, I will make one last call if there's anyone that wants to speak on general public comment. Okay, I do not see anyone, so I will again reclose general public comment. And now we will move on to item 4. And I believe I have 2 cards on item 4. So if I could call my old friend, or just my friend, he's not that old, General Jeff, to come forward. And is it Ida Talala? Ida, please come forward. So, General, you want to defer? Yeah, that's a class act on your part. Please come forward. Item 4. In fact, Mr. Clerk, let's read item 4 into the record.
Item number 4 is a city attorney report and ordinance relative to establishing a procedure for stakeholders to create a certified neighborhood council within the boundaries of one or more existing certified neighborhood councils.
Good. Come forward. I think I've heard from you before on this issue.
Good morning, committee. My name is General Jeff. I am the chair of the Skid Row Neighborhood Council Formation Committee. And while we are very excited that this process is actually moving forward, which will allow us the opportunity to break away from the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council and form our own neighborhood council, there is a concern that the subdivision vote will actually be voted on by people from the downtown community that have zero interest in Skid Row. And so it's unfortunate that our futures in terms of what's going on in Skid Row with everything from homelessness, mental illness, spice overdoses, and is not currently being addressed by the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council. What are the options for us if we get a negative vote on this subdivision vote? And so while this process is a start, we're concerned because our lives are on the line. And so we hope that there would be some other options in place for us other than, in case of a losing vote. What do we do then? We're dying in these streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Please come forward. And then, Leonard, you're next. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody. I am against this agenda item. Again, no detailed. I'm on the board of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council. I'm not representing them. I'm speaking as an individual on that board. Again, no detailed information to the NC to contemplate immediate impact or reorganization, how this is to be incorporated or administrated, including handling of fiscal demands or duties. This needs to be thrashed out at all neighborhoods and a detailed report, detailed written report sent to the neighborhood councils. As such, I am opposed to it. Thank you.
No, thank you. So I could get Mr. Schaefer, Commissioner.
Good morning again, and good morning, Councilmember Huizar. I just wanted to state that this was one of the 17 recommendations that came out of the working groups formed by the commission that met throughout the city, and then I personally facilitated, I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3 meetings up at the Hollywood Constituent Center where all of the members of all of the working groups came together. It then went to the commission, and the commission passed it to the city council. This was a very well thought out proposition and a well thought out methodology that both neighborhood council board members, stakeholders, former board members worked and agreed on. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes general public comment on that item. I'm going to defer to Mr. Huizar at this point.
Mr. Chair and President, I want to thank Dunn for their work on this. As was stated, this is something that's been in the works for some time. Introduced a motion after some recommendations from people not only in my district but throughout the city who were involved with the neighborhood council formation. And through several discussions and figuring out what's the best way to move forward, I think what we have before us is a process that allows for better representation from those neighborhoods in the city that would like to have their own neighborhood council. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, as well, for helping us move this through the committee process, and I fully support this.
Okay, so on that item, we'll adopt the city attorney report and the draft ordinance. Okay, let me see what I want to take up. I want to take up item 5. I have a speaker card on item 5. In fact, Ida, I have you on 3 and 5. You want to come up and speak on both of those items? We'll give you 2 minutes. Or go right ahead.
Go ahead and read the item into the record.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 5 is motion Harris Dawson Wesson relative to an instruction to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment to report on a process to incorporate input from neighborhood councils on homelessness matters and the establishment of a homeless advocate program. On May 25th, 2016, the Homelessness and Poverty Committee approved the motion.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Welcome again.
I would like to, I'm on the board of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council, and I am here not as a representative, but really concerned about the approval. Our neighborhood council, the Echo Park Neighborhood Council, has been under exhaustive measures for about a year. Prior to that, it had its funds suspended. This discussion hasn't gone to the neighborhood council at all. And for it to be approved without this input is to negate what is going on at the neighborhood council, because exhaustive measures and funding suspension does impact the whole community.
Okay. You
I
want to
thank you.
You want to speak on your other item while you're up here? You had 5 and
Yes.
3.
Basically, also, there is no description to our neighborhood council in recent weeks. There is no description what programs meet. This is on item 3, or the benefits. On item 5, there is no information coming to our neighborhood council because there is no committee on homelessness, and the at-large elected members have not been designated as handling anything. And I think homelessness impacts all communities. as such, I ask that more information from Dunn go to each and every neighborhood council equally. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so on item 5, what I would recommend is that we adopt the motion on item 5. Mr. Clerk, did you or would you read item 3?
Certainly. Item number 3 is a city attorney report, ordinance, and resolution relative to the transfer of the Neighborhood Council Funding Program from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment to the city clerk, also joint administration of the program by Dunn and the city clerk, and an amendment to the plan for a citywide system of neighborhood councils that reflects the transfer of the program.
Okay, so now on item 3, we will continue this item at the request of the city attorney's office, revise the draft ordinance and resolution by striking all language done to delegate authority to administer the neighborhood council's funding program into the city department. Also insert language which affirms the council's instructions to transfer authority to administer the neighborhood council funding program from Dunn to the city clerk. So that's on item 3. On item 5, we will adopt the motion. So without objection, that'll be the order. And I'm told that it was a CLA recommendation, not a city attorney recommendation on item 3. Okay, so again, without objection, that will be the order. So, Mr. Clerk, that brings us where?
Sir, that brings us to items number 1 and 2, which are communications from the Mayor and City Ethics Commission relative to the appointment of Ms. Eve Sinclair and Ms. Margarita Derek-Caros to the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners.
Okay, thank you very much. So what I'm going to do now is I have a card in from Ann Job. Ann, are you? I thought I saw her earlier. Come on down. Hey, Yvonne. I see Ann. Joanne, come on. Come on. It's sergeants. Can you let her come sit at the table? They submitted a community impact statement, so I want to. The neighborhood council submitted the community impact statement. Do me a favor and sit in one of the other seats, and then if you could just give me like a few extra minutes, Mr. Clerk, on the clock. Maybe we put it at this.
I'm sorry, how much, sir?
That's fine for now. Okay, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ann Job. I'm charged with government affairs for the Sylmar Neighborhood Council, and we have submitted a community impact statement on this item,
Yes.
and it's before you.
Yes.
Let me begin by saying we're not making any kind of decision regarding Eve Sinclair. I don't know Eve Sinclair. We're not making any position on that other than personally I'm inclined that if the mayor liked her, I probably do too. That would be my jumping off place. But we do have a problem. We have an issue, Sylmar voted, that we're not included, that neighborhood councils are not given adequate time to invite anybody who is appointed to BONC to come and meet with us and come and talk to us so that we can get to know them, they can get to know us, we can talk about the issues that affect us instead of it simply being that the mayor thinks that this person would be terrific, and probably so. The city council thinks that this person would be terrific, and probably so, but that we're not included, at least with an opportunity to have them come and speak with us before the decision is made. So let me just make it clear, we are not, the Sylmar Neighborhood Council is not talking about vetting any candidate or any appointee of the mayor. That's not what we're wanting to do. We're just wanting to have an opportunity to meet the people who will be representing us to Bonk.
Okay. Anything else, Ann?
I don't believe I have anything else to say on that matter.
Okay, well,
I did want that to be clear, that we are not taking a position against or for. We just
No, and I think you did make that very clear.
Okay.
And before I bring up our the mayor's choices for commissions, just let me humbly try to respond. I don't think it's a secret that I myself in this committee has the highest respect for the neighborhood councils throughout the city of Los Angeles. And I think we've been a pretty forward-thinking committee doing the very best we can to ensure that there is transparency and an opportunity for the councils to participate. With that said, however, there are almost 100 neighborhood councils, and that would be a very difficult task to request commissioners to sit down with 97 if there was a request from 97 neighborhood councils. So just let me finish. So I'm sensitive to the desire of the neighborhood council, but I do think that that is challenging to say the least. And when the people of this city elected the mayor, they did give him certain abilities, one of which would be to select individuals that he felt should serve on various committees. I, like you, kind of believe that we need to give him the benefit of the doubt on those items. But I just wanted to kind of make that statement, tell you I understand and we're sensitive, and I appreciate the activity from your neighborhood council and that they would take the time to give a community impact statement. And I really, really appreciate you taking your own personal time to come down here, and it's good to see you on a regular basis.
Could I just say that
Go ahead.
I believe that you categorized it a little bit wrong. I'm not asking for anything other than enough time between the appointment and
No, I get all of that.
that
I get
neighborhood
all of that.
councils can, certainly don't have to, nor does
get
they,
that.
but can have the opportunity to say, at our next meeting, we would like to have you on the agenda.
I get that.
Okay.
I get that. I get that. So, and I'm sorry if
Okay,
I
thank
said
you.
something that you
I
misunderstood.
didn't hear it right.
No, but I do get that. My response was that I think that that's a big challenge. I just think it's very challenging to have a commissioner try to go to neighborhood councils prior to he or she being
They may not even be invited.
No, I get that. I get that.
Okay.
I just think it's a challenge. But anyway, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
down. Now, I'd like to request that our commissioners come.
Oh, Mr. Chair, excuse me. We've just received 4 cards from the Sergeant at Arms for public comment on item number 1.
Okay, they're too late. We're not taking them. Yes, we are. Bring the cards.
Okay.
If you would bring the cards. Okay, I don't know if I can make out the last name, but what about a Edwin? Edwin, are you here? Edwin, come on up. Sonia, come on up and get, but you guys will go right. Sergeant, let them go up to the center aisle. So Edwin, you're first. Sonia, you're second. Whoever wants to go first, just identify yourself. Hi.
Hi, Mr. Wasson. Sonia Tatulian with Southern Tonga Business Association and the Foothill Record, local newspaper. And I'm here with Edwin, who speaks Armenian, and I will
Oh.
translate for him. But we are very happy with the mayor's choice of Miss Eve Sinclair. And yes, she is new to our community, but we want newer people representing our community because the community is changing and evolving, and this is a very, very great choice for our town.
Wonderful. So
Thank
you want to translate for Edwin, or is that Edwin?
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Edwin Miranian. Okay, let me speak Armenian and Sonia gonna translate it to English. Thank you. Ուրեմն Իվին իշքան ճանաչացել եմ թաղի մեջ
As long as I've known Eve in our community for a short time,
եւ երբ որ մենք մասնակցում ենք մեր ընտրություններին,
and when she participated in our neighborhood council elections,
զգացել եմ, որ իշքան ինքը աչալուրջ է եւ աշխատունակ է եւ փորձում է որ լուծի բոլոր մեր թաղի խնդիրները։
and we recognize that she is very hard worker, and she always tries to represent our town, Salon Tahanga.
So yes, իմ աջակցությունն եմ այդում իրան։
And we are endorsing her as a member of the community business, and he is also the president of Armenian Cultural Sassoon Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and Mr. Clerk, because of the interest of time, I'm going to call these cards, but I don't think that I could take any additional ones. So generally it is the policy once we begin a conversation, we don't take new cards. Thank the both of you for coming down. If I could get Arnold, and Arnold, I'm going to have you come and pronounce your last name, Arnold, and then Janelle, and lastly I have Sean, and I think I can do that one, Sean Martin. Yes, sir.
Good morning, councils. Arnold Abramian. I'm a stakeholder and entrepreneur, Chamber of Commerce board member, and I was actually on the same slate as Eve Sinclair running for neighborhood council. And I'd like to bring to the attention that the mayor actually did a wonderful job appointing her as commissioner, because Eve is not just a stakeholder. She's the sister everybody wants. She's the mother to the children that are not spoken for in the community. She's the sister to the single moms and the young families that are not involved in our community. She comes to the meetings with her daughter. She encourages the young families to get involved in our community. She's revived our community garden. She's participated in cleaning up our community with her daughter, encouraging young families to come. So she's the sister we want. She's the neighbor we want. And she's the commissioner every neighborhood council would want. So I thank you for making the right choices, and the mayor has actually made the proper choice at this time.
Thank you for coming down. Oops, we have a collision back there. Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself.
My name is Janelle Hushin. I'm actually part of the CD7 Open Letter Group in Sunland, Tahunga.
All right, good to meet you.
Yes, and I just wanted to say Eve Sinclair has done a wonderful job for our community, and I've worked alongside of her in cleanups, and she's the right choice.
Thank you. Okay, Sean? Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning, Council. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of Eve. I'm a new homeowner in the area, and the recent election was my first local election for this area, and overall, I'm very disappointed with how it was run. And now I understand that the same people who messed with our election are now opposing the most sensible and obvious choice for our council. And as a new member, it doesn't speak well to have a group of people take away or diminish somebody who has an obvious and clear record of standing up for all people who are in her district and all the people who are around, and represents the community in very, very positive ways. So I would just like to speak and say that, yeah, I guess you guys got it.
Well, look, thank you for coming down, and thank you for your participation. In fact, I want to thank each and every one of you who adjusted your calendars to come down and speak before us. I think that it's very important that we as Angelenos participate in our government from every level. And so, again, I want to thank all of you for coming down. With that said, why don't I call our two proposed appointments and have them come to the center table. so you can be grilled. So first, let me just say welcome, and what I'd like to do is give both of you an opportunity to just briefly say, tell us who you are and, what you hope to accomplish. We'll start with you.
My maiden name is Margarita Derek Quiros, but please call me Maggie.
Maggie.
Okay. And I've been involved in the community of Glasso Park, Northeast area for a lot of years. I actually was one of the key co-founders of the Glasso Park Neighborhood Council, which was one of the first neighborhood councils in the Northeast and the third in the city. And what I like to gain from this is more knowledge, also empowering more leaders, more active members as well. And I bring my transparency to help others. I was one of the first treasurers in the neighborhood councils to help pay some of the demand warrants. So that was really good. I worked with Steve O, Steve Bali. So there was a lot of people that right from the beginning, from the start, that I was able to build bridges and relationships with. And I would like to see more of different cultures also join the neighborhood council and also help, with hopefully there's a lot of things that also need to get improved, and hopefully I could learn from that and help others too as well. It's a learning process. That's what my goal is, to
Thank you.
gain more knowledge.
Thank you. Maggie, right? I'm her.
Maggie.
Okay. Maddie?
Maggie.
Maggie, I got it. Yes.
Hi, my name is Eve Sinclair. I moved to Sunland Tehunga about 2 years ago and became involved just recently in the neighborhood council. I ran for the last election and am now part of the council. I'm new to the system, so I'm trying to learn a lot about it. And through my experiences through the election and the process of being a new board member, I really have become interested in neighborhood councils becoming more inclusive to the neighborhood and reaching out to groups that traditionally haven't been reached out to before. I'm a working mother, and so it's been hard for a lot of families to participate in our local neighborhood council just because of, the meetings being on weeknights when you have, homework to get done and children to take care of and all that. So it was fantastic. In our recent election, we've had a lot of parents join, and so there's a new focus on trying to create committee meetings on Saturdays and other ways for people to participate. So I'm very interested in that process, and I'd like to spend the first couple of months of this, commission appointment reaching out to all the different neighborhood councils in the area to see what's working for them, what's not, to see how their demographics of their neighborhood council is matching up to the actual demographics of their city, and to see how we can help improve that, that match between those two. So that's kind of what my interest is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wizar, did you have any questions?
I fully support these two recommendations, and Maggie's been very active in the northeast part of my district, so I think this is a great addition to the board and understanding of someone who's been involved and sees the
11
day-to-day
years.
activities, and to bring that knowledge up to this decision-making level, it's going to be a great asset. So thank you. Thank you
Well,
both.
Maggie, you couldn't get a better endorsement than my dear friend, Mr. Weezer here. So I guess we might have to let you slide on through. Let me thank you both in advance. You could be, at home. You could be doing just personal things. You could just be taking care of your family, but the two of you have chosen to participate in your community and to try to make your city a better place. So what that does, it just puts additional things on your plate, and I think it shows us that you're committed to try to make our city better for everyone, and I respect that, because you do that with no pay, you do that with pushback from certain people or what have you. So again, I respect that. I also respect the mayor, who we have a good working relationship with, and I always want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt where it comes to recommendations. So Without objection, I'd like to recommend these appointments to the full city council, and that will be heard today after 10 o'clock in these chambers. So, Mr. Clerk, without objection, that will be the order. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, is there any additional business before this committee?
No, sir, that clears the desk.
Okay. I see some folk that are here today with green and yellow. And I was just a little curious as to where you might, I think I know, but I'm a little curious as to where you might be from. And I just want to verify it. Who are you? Did I hear the word? Did I hear demos? Demos in the house, and you're welcome. Okay, you are very, 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 very welcome. You bring back memories of my Pop Warner days as a coach, and I know it's the high school, but you know, you have the feeder program of the young, and during my 13 years as a Pop Warner football coach, I, with regularity, got destroyed by the demos, but I beat you once. Anyway, welcome to City Hall, and I'm sure we'll be dealing with you guys a little later. Joanne, always a pleasure to see you. Give my best to the kids. This committee is adjourned.